I'm Mary Chris M. Susuban, and this is my examination in forensic. First question: how friction skin are formed? Friction skin is composed of ridges, the raised portion, and furrows, the depressed portion. They alternate to form a pattern. They develop when we were or the baby is already in the womb, approximately 6 months of fetalized. So we bring this friction skin from birth until death. Second question: enumerate and describe the sublayers of epidermis. There are 5: the stratum basilae or basal layer, stratum spinosum or spiny layer, stratum granulosum or granular layer, stratum lucidum, and stratum corneum. First we tackle is the stratum basilae or basal layer. It is the deepest layer of epidermis and sometimes called stratum germinativum. It is the layer that's closest to the blood supply, lying underneath the epidermis. So it is the layer, this layer is one of the most important layer of our skin. This is because it contains the only cells of the epidermis that can divide via the process of mitosis, which means that the skin cells germinate here, hence the word germinativum or germinativum. That's just the same. From there, the keratinocytes move to the next layer, which is the stratum spinosum, a layer so-called spiny layer. This is because the cells are spiny-shaped cells. So this layer is partly responsible for the skin strength and flexibility. From there, the keratinocytes move to the next layer, the third layer, which is the granulosum, stratum granulosum or granular layer. This layer gets its name from the fact that the cells located here contains many granules. So the keratinocytes produce a lot of keratin in this layer and become filled with keratin. This process is known as keratinization. Once the keratinocytes leave the stratum granulosum, it dies and helps from the stratum lucidum. Stratum lucidum derives from the word lucid, meaning clear or transparent in appearance, and it gives off under the microscope. This layer is easily can be seen at some of the hairless parts of our body, for example, the palms of our hands and soles of our feet. From there, the keratinocytes move to the next layer, which is the stratum corneum, the 5th layer of the epidermis. A horny layer filled with the cornified cells. So this layer is the only layer that we can see in our eyes. This layer is the outermost layer of our skin and is exposed to the atmosphere outside of our body. So the cells in this layer helps to prevent bacteria, fungi, and viruses. Third, enumerate and define the common ridge characteristics. So there are 10 common ridge characteristics: bifurcation, ridge ending, island or ridge dot, enclosure, appendage, converging ridges, core, delta, diverging ridges, and incipient ridges. First is the bifurcation. It is a single ridge that splits into two and form a Y-shaped structure. The ridge ending, as its name implies, just the abrupt end of a ridge formation. Island or ridge dot resembles a dot. It has only one ridge unit and one pore, several islands, and if they fuse together, would form what we call as short ridge. Enclosure is a single ridge that splits together, but they do not remain open, and they come together and forming a single ridge once more. Appendage is a short ridge at the top or summit of the recurve, usually at right angle. Converging ridges is a ridge whose close end is angular and serves as a point of convergence, pointed and abrupt. Core is a point on a ridge formation, usually located at the heart or center at the center or the heart of the pattern. Delta is a point of the first ridge formation directly into or found at the nearest center of the divergence of the type lines. Diverging ridges. A ridge that once parallel and then diverge. Lastly is the incipient ridges. It is an unusual type of ridge found at a small percentage of pattern, small, narrow, badly formed ridge found in between of the two well-formed and gall-bodied ridges. Lastly, number 4, define the following. Pattern area. That part of fingerprint who lies in the area surrounded or enclosed by the type lines. Type lines. The two innermost ridges that which type lines. The two innermost ridges that starts parallel and then diverge at a certain point and surround or tend to surround the pattern area. Delta is a point on the first ridge formation, which is a point of the first ridge formation that found at or directly into the nearest center of the divergence of the type lines. Delta. Core, the approximate center of the pattern. And the last is the sufficient recurve. It is the space between the shoulder of the loop. That's all, and thank you.